In the blood-soaked Sengoku period of Japan, two men defined an era. One was Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the brilliant, bombastic warlord who unified the nation. He loved gold, power, and spectacle. The other was Sen no Rikyu, a humble merchant who conquered the nation not with an army, but with a tea bowl. He loved simplicity, imperfection, and silence. They were the ruler of Japan and the ruler of its soul. For a time, they were inseparable allies, but their two worlds were destined to collide, in a battle of aesthetics so profound it would end with one of them being ordered to take his own life. This is the story of the ultimate clash of taste, gold versus Wabi-Sabi. Sen no Rikyu was born in 1522, not into the warrior class, but to a wealthy fish merchant family in the port city of Sakai. In an age of constant war, Sakai was a rare thing, a free, autonomous city run by merchants, a hub of international trade, new ideas, and a flourishing urban culture. From a young age, Rikyu was drawn to the way of tea, or chad. He studied under the greatest masters, absorbing the traditions, but all the while, he was formulating his own, radical philosophy of beauty. Rikyu's impeccable taste eventually caught the attention of the most powerful man in Japan, the ruthless unifier, Oda Nobunaga. Nobunaga was a master of political theater. He understood that a rare tea bowl could be a more valuable reward than land or gold. He appointed Rikyu as his sad, his personal tea master, making him the ultimate arbiter of taste. When Nobunaga was assassinated in 1582, Rikyu seamlessly transitioned into the service of his successor, the brilliant and ambitious Toyotomi Hideyoshi. Under Hideyoshi, Rikyu's influence exploded. He was no longer just a tea master. He was Hideyoshi's closest confidant, a key advisor on culture, aesthetics, and even politics. In Hideyoshi's Japan, Sen no Rikyu had become. His judgment could make a simple piece of pottery more valuable than a castle. He had created a new kind of power, one based not on the sword, but on aesthetics. As Hideyoshi's power grew, so did his love for the magnificent and the grandiose. He built a tea room made of solid gold, but at the very same time, Rikyu was perfecting a radically different vision. The two most powerful men in Japan were now walking down two completely different paths, and those paths were leading to a fatal collision. While Hideyoshi was dazzling the world with gold, Rikyu was quietly perfecting his revolution. He called it Wabi-Sabi. This was the culmination of his life's philosophy, an aesthetic that would come to define Japanese beauty. At the heart of Rikyu's philosophy is the concept of Wabi-Sabi. It is the beauty of things imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete. Wabi speaks of a rustic simplicity and a spiritual poverty. Sabi is the beauty that comes with age, the patina of time. It is the opposite of the glittering gold that his master, Hideyoshi, adored. A famous legend illustrates their different worlds. Hearing that Rikyu's garden was filled with beautiful morning glories, Hideyoshi demanded to see them. But when he arrived, he found the garden bare. Rikyu had cut down every single flower. Furious, Hideyoshi stormed into the tea house. There in the dim light, he saw it, a single, perfect morning glory, displayed in a simple vase. By removing the distraction of the many, Rikyu had revealed the profound beauty of the one. Rikyu applied this philosophy to everything. He designed a space of radical simplicity, a tiny hut, often no bigger than 2 tatami mats. The entrance was so low that everyone, from the highest lord to the humblest commoner, had to bow their head and crawl inside, leaving their swords and their status at the door. Inside, all were equal. He championed simple, rustic objects, favoring rough, asymmetrical bowls made by local artisans over perfect Chinese ceramics. For Rikyu, true luxury was not the possession of expensive things, but the shedding of all that was unnecessary. For a time, Hideyoshi was Rikyu's greatest student. The peasant-born ruler seemed to understand that in Rikyu's tea house, he could find a spiritual peace that all his power and wealth could not buy. But this harmony could not last. Rikyu's fame and influence had grown immense. Some said he was more respected than the ruler himself. And then, an incident occurred, an act of seeming arrogance that would give the increasingly paranoid Hideyoshi the excuse he needed to destroy his master of tea. The final, fatal tea ceremony was about to begin. The beginning of the end was a statue. In 1589, Rikyu donated money to renovate the main gate of the Daidakuji temple. In gratitude, the temple priests commissioned a life-sized wooden statue of Rikyu and placed it on the upper story of the gate. Now, anyone who entered the temple, including Hideyoshi himself, would have to walk under the feet of Sen no Rikyu's effigy. When Hideyoshi heard of this, he was enraged. To make me, the regent of Japan, walk beneath the feet of a mere tea master, it was a flagrant challenge to his authority. Whether Rikyu intended it as an insult, or whether it was a misguided gesture by the temple, is a mystery, but for the increasingly insecure Hideyoshi, it was treason. Historians debate the true cause. Was it the statue, or was that just an excuse? Some say Rikyu refused to give his daughter to Hideyoshi as a concubine, others whisper that he was using his position to sell tea wares for exorbitant profits. But the deepest reason was a fundamental clash of worldviews. Hideyoshi's world was one of addition, more power, more gold. Rikyu's world was one of subtraction, finding a core of pure, spiritual truth. As Rikyu's philosophy of Wabi-Sabi became more influential, it became a silent critique of Hideyoshi's entire world of gaudy excess. The tea master had become a rival for the soul of the nation. Hideyoshi's anger was absolute. He banished Rikyu to his hometown of Sakai and ordered him to await his judgment. Many of Rikyu's powerful friends and students begged Hideyoshi to show mercy, but the ruler would not be moved. The order came down from the capital. Sen no Rikyu was to commit seppuku. In the face of death, Rikyu did not panic. He did what he had always done. He invited his disciples to one last tea ceremony. In the quiet of his tea room, he served them tea, one by one. The atmosphere was not one of sorrow, but of profound, transcendent peace. On February 28, 1591, at the age of 70, the greatest tea master in Japanese history took his own life on the order of the man he had served. But before he died, he wrote a final, defiant poem, a testament to his unbending spirit. Rikyu's death poem was not one of sorrow or regret. It was a roar of Zen defiance. "I raise this sword, my long-cherished treasure," he wrote, "and in this moment, I killed both Buddhas and patriarchs." It was the ultimate statement of a man free from all authority, even the authority of heaven itself. He would not bow, not even in death. Legend says that after Rikyu's death, Hideyoshi was haunted by his decision. The pleasure he took in tea was gone. He had won the battle of power, but he had lost the battle of taste. But Rikyu's legacy could not be killed. After Hideyoshi's death, Rikyu's family was pardoned. His descendants would go on to found the three main schools of the Japanese tea ceremony. Through them, Rikyu's philosophy of wabi-cha was preserved and passed down through the generations. Rikyu's impact was monumental. He didn't just perfect the tea ceremony, he fundamentally shaped the Japanese sense of beauty. The principles of wabi-sabi, simplicity, humility, and an appreciation for the passage of time became the DNA of Japanese aesthetics. It can be seen in everything from Japanese architecture and garden design to flower arranging and modern product design. The true reason for Rikyu's forced suicide remains one of the great unsolved mysteries of Japanese history. Was it a clash of personalities, a political power play, or a profound, philosophical disagreement? Rikyu's life poses a timeless question. What is the role of the artist in the face of absolute power? He served power, but when his own artistic vision became a challenge to that power, he was destroyed. His story is a chilling reminder that for tyrants, beauty is only useful when it is obedient. Hideyoshi's Golden Tea Room is a museum piece, a historical curiosity, but Rikyu's way of tea is a living, breathing art form practiced by millions around the world. In the end, the man who embraced impermanence created the more enduring legacy. Gold tarnishes, but the spirit of wabi-sabi, the beauty of a simple bowl of tea, shared in a quiet room, remains timeless.